What is a pulpit?
A pulpit is where the scripture is delivered from and words of wisdom about that and life in general, at least at Hillhurst.
A place where people go and take the audience along a path.
It's a place where we receive information about God and faith.
Place from which an individual stands and shares their views, their values, their beliefs to a larger public community.
It can be a church pulpit, or it could be a political pulpit, but a spreading of message. When I think of church pulpit, I think of good news and understanding, but I also think of hope and comfort when times aren't so good.
What is a pulpit? I have no idea.
A pulpit is only the authority that we give it. It only has the authority that we give it.
I find it really useful to set the Bible on when I'm ever doing a reading.
A speaker's stand. That's the easiest way of answering that. Where the minister or priest would speak to the congregation from.
Is it pulpit? I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's in a church. It's part of a church. And I think it might be even where they give their sermon.
What belongs on a pulpit?
I think it depends on what's needed there.
I would hope integrity and honesty.
Words of wisdom, the scripture, insights to life.
Anything like candles.
An individual who values honesty and the well-being of the people to whom he or she is speaking to.
Bibles, pieces of paper. Generally, they tend to be a little too slanted for candles, but I feel like candles are lovely. I've been a part of congregations that have had some wonderful sewn pieces sort of quilted hanging from them, which is always lovely.
I don't think anything should really be on there. It's just a area where they would speak from.
If somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, maybe some notes.
But I would say that what belongs on a pulpit is the preacher.
Glasses so that John can find one at any time.
Have you ever heard a good sermon and what made it good?
The best, I think, strike at what our identities are in regards to our relationship with God.
I guess I started going to church looking for answers, and when I started to hear sermons about these heartfelt things that didn't really have answers but provided deep thought, those were the good sermons for me.
That they're memorable, that I can remember them weeks or months or years past, and that they touch something in my heart and makes me want to change my life in some way.
Sometimes you do just have to go to church. Sometimes it's for the sermon, but sometimes it's just for the sanctuary of what the building brings. But more often than not, it's for the sermon for me.
What they were. Some of them I remember quite well, and others obviously forgot, so it kind of identifies if it was good or not.
Often it has to do not so much with the sermon itself, but where I, as an individual, am at the time. It's kind of a personal preference thing. Another quality of a good sermon that has to do with the speaker, him or herself, relates to the degree to which they try to be fair-minded and open and honest, and less about rhetoric and trying to convert the audience into a particular way of seeing things.
The pastor says something, or something happens in the sermon, there's a song or something like that, and I don't realize that it's exactly what I need to hear, but it is.
Went to Terry Winter concert or show when I was a kid. But that was a long time ago. It was only like 7 or 8.
It actually had to do with a wedding in which it was actually quite funny and to the point.
So the preacher, he had a theme, but he really invited the congregation to be part of it so that they could really get something out of it.
John, and he was talking about the zealot, Jesus. It was a great sermon.
When a sermon is really good is when many different people take different messages from it.